Hello and welcome to the FSF PopCast Live Edition. Well, hello there, kids and cadets. This is the FSF PopCast Live Edition, the show where we laugh at our own jokes, our poorly constructed jokes, because no one else will.
The self-deprecating humor is getting a little too close to home.
You know, you go with what you know.
Right? That's true. All right, but before we get into tonight's show and festivities, we need to say thank you to our show sponsor, Live It Up Sabers! And you guys are familiar with how this works. We show you the video, I tell you the thing. Tim put the link up. Link for Level Up Sabers is in the show notes and comment section. I'm going to assume that people have been here before.
They may have seen us do the thing that one time when we did the other thing, so
maybe
it might be okay.
Twice.
Yeah, it could have happened. And I almost did a bad thing when I went to hit enter on the comment button. Somehow I almost hit the end broadcast button. We were like almost like that, you know.
Woof.
It was very close to being hi. Hey,
we're broadcast to end that quickly.
Right. Hi, we're the FSF podcast and done. So
I would like to think that we are going to give them a little bit more of a show than that tonight.
It could happen. It's a possibility. So, hey guys, take a moment if you could, please do what the banner at the bottom says. Please remember to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Doing that helps us to continue to grow and help bring you some information and some really cool interviews each and every week with people out in the sci-fi and pop culture world. However, if you would like to help us continue to support this show and offset some of the costs, you can, of course, buy us a coffee. You can use this link right here, and your generous donation helps us to keep moving. And like I said, we don't need to get rich, but, you know, breaking even, that might be nice every now and then.
That could be cool.
It could be cool, right? It could be a thing. Please make it a thing.
Please.
You know. And your hubby says, hi. Hi.
Hi, John. We love you.
There, I smiled for him.
All right. But we have guests waiting in the green room.
Hopefully,
they will improve the show quality so far. Anyway.
It's all on them.
It's all on them. We've got nothing.
No pressure, but it's all on them.
Phoning it in, and they're going to bring it for us. So tonight we have Shannon Perry from the Oz9 podcast.
Hi, Shannon. You're muted.
I know. I was working on it.
Okay.
Sheesh.
I saw nothing. You're not muted. Everything is fine.
I'm all good. Hey, everybody.
Hello. We also have Spartan from TikTok. I'm really hoping that I got any of that correct.
Yeah, you got it right. Sounds good.
It happens once in a while. All right. Welcome.
Every once in a while.
That's all we need. We don't need consistency. We just need random, flashes of brilliance, and we'll be okay.
It's like the
on a Monday.
Super moons. You only get a couple of them a year if you're lucky enough to see it. Ta-da.
Right? Exactly. All right. So, hey, before we jump into our topics for tonight, we want to give you guys a chance to let everybody know about yourselves and where you're from and what you're doing. So we'll go left to right on the bottom of the screen there. We'll start with Spartan. If you would, please tell everybody where to find you and what you talk about.
Yeah, sure. Go by Spartan on primarily TikTok, and I'm on Twitch. I haven't done Twitch in a really long time, but my name's Christopher. I'm a photographer based out of Denver, Colorado. So you noticed the beautiful hat my man's wearing there. It's our state flag. Primarily, I'm a husband of 13 years. I got 2 teenage boys. The only thing I do on my off time is do this stuff, work on stuff on TikTok, play a lot of games.
Wait, you get off time?
my thing. Yeah, I get off time every now and then, but I'm not doing that. Trying to trying to travel around as much as possible with gas prices being as high as they are, but do what we
Understood.
can.
Yeah.
How about it? I'm a pretty easygoing guy.
Nice. Well, we're glad to have you on the show tonight. So just so you know, I bought this hat a couple years ago while I was visiting my buddy who lived down in Buena Vista.
Nice.
So he's since then moved out to Virginia. His job moved him out there, but yeah.
That's a long distance. Wow.
Well, it was one of those things where, that good of a job offer, you kind of tend to go. So,
no, housing market's probably a lot better. So good for him.
Could be. I don't know. I haven't compared the two. I haven't had to. I'll ask him. But then we also have Shannon Perry. You may recognize Shannon. She's been a guest on the show before. She's been a guest host on the show before. Spoiler alert, she'll be a guest host on this Friday's episode. Ooh, and she's been a guest on the live show before. So Shannon's kind of like hit all the spots on here. But hey, remind them where to find you, Shannon.
Yeah, I am on Oz9, writer, producer. Was producer. Now we have a real one. Tell me, it rocks. So yeah, I do the things on Oz9, and I run a little podcast company called Audiotocracy. And you can find me at audiotocracy.com or oz-9.com. Yes. Good Lord. It is Monday.
It is Monday.
Most
it is Monday.
certainly is.
Said it.
To reintroduce John's comment, today has been the most Monday of Mondays.
Oh,
no doubt.
He is currently out in the other end of the house after I have securely locked the door to keep the 3-year-old away from me. Like, he has the brunt of the Monday right now, and bless him.
It's good. It's good for him.
He's gonna have fun with that.
It's good for him. But yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the Oz9 podcast, please go do so. I freaking love that show. I laugh hysterically. It's just a bunch of silliness and nonsense and fun. And
are you saying it was better than ours?
Oh, it's much better than ours. I'm not even going to pretend.
It's actually meant to be true life. Like it's actually a documentary. So I'm a little sad that you think it's funny.
Well, then I have completely missed the point of the show because I think it's hysterical.
Okay, fair.
Man, there's an awkward feeling in silence right now.
Yeah,
I love it though.
Whatever. Just lean into it.
Stare into the kid.
Love you. But yeah, and go check out Sub-Ohm on TikTok. I'm gonna just move away from that. Go check out Sub-Ohm Spartan on TikTok as well. I have really enjoyed his content, and if you like non-confrontational, non-gatekeeping content, I have found that to be his take. Unless you have something that I've missed as well.
No, I don't think. I hope not. I mean,
I just want you to make
you
sure
find something that's disagreeable,
that
questionable. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I'll say this out loud. If anyone finds anything that I've done that's like questionable, I'm super vulnerable to that. So you're always more than welcome to comment and check up a conversation. So
well, that's how we change, right? We have conversations. That's how we advance. That's how we make changes. That's how we become better. So
that's right.
So yeah. All right. Well, cool. So there's the way that you guys can check those guys out. So, we just got another WAS comment.
Oh boy.
Why would anyone want a conversation at the gates of fandom?
Yeah, seriously.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Can I just ask a quick question to my fellow guest here? What's the origin of your name?
Good question. So I play a lot of Halo. So I like Spartans. I vape, and when I vape, it's a sub-ohm resistance. So I just put the whole thing together.
Nice.
Sounded good.
I assumed you had to do something with electrician or something along those lines.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought it had to do with meditation, so I'm completely.
Yeah, I get you.
Like the next octave down.
No, all has to do with resistance and for what I'm vaping on. So it just kind of stuck.
Sweet.
Went with that. I needed to pick a name. I'm like, I'll put that together.
Sweet.
I like it.
Fair enough. All right. So tonight's topics. Yeah, here we go.
Oh boy.
So we just for full disclosure to anybody who's watching, and if any of the guys from the Three Geeks podcast are watching, I just want you to know that yes, we did steal your game and we just renamed it.
But we're probably not going to make it better.
No, we won't make it any better. But we did steal it. In full disclosure, they call it Remake Revolution. I was like, well, we're gonna do that's like the difference between a Chevy and a GMC. There's the Remake Revolution. Ours is the Reboot This. So the point of tonight's show is that the four of us have each selected a show from the 80s or 90s that we wanted to reboot. We've picked new cast characters. If there's any changes that we wanted to make to the storyline, anything along those lines, we just explain what those are and why, and it'll be all kinds of fun. So I figure since I'm the one stealing the creative thoughts of our good buddies over at Three Geeks, I should probably be the one to show it how it's done. So I'll go first. So do you guys remember the show from the 1980s? I believe it was only on for 2 years, had 40 something episodes, 2 maybe 3 years, called The Greatest American Hero.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We could probably launch into the theme song if we needed to.
Believe it or not, I'm walking in there. Yeah, I'm going to stop right there because nobody needs to hear that.
There are no tater tots or Guinness. Why are you singing?
No, this is true. There is neither. But for those who don't know, it's this show right here. So this is it. Yeah, The Greatest American Hero. Yeah, I used to watch that show as a kid. I thought it was very funny. And I've tried to go back and watch it. It's not as funny as I remember it being, but that's the joy of being, 7, 8 years old when something comes out. And, so I thought it'd be a lot of fun to remake The Greatest American Hero. But as you saw from the picture, there's really only 3 main cast members, and everybody else was in for like 10 episodes here, 5 episodes there, or came back and played 4 or 5 episodes, but didn't maintain a steady character. They were the gatekeeper this time. They were the security guard the next time, or whatever. So there's really only 3 characters I had to worry about in that. So the main character, the teacher, whose name is Ralph Hinckley, just for a backstory, Ralph Hinckley is taking his class of highly troubled students out into the desert for some reason for what do they call this? Field trips. That's what it was. Field trips. And it's been a while since I've been on one of those. But he takes his class out there and the car breaks down and he gets visited by aliens who give him this suit and the instruction manual. He loses the suit. Not the suit, rather, but the instruction manual. Doesn't know how to work it, doesn't know what all the special powers are, and he's kind of trying to figure this out on the fly. So I figured that Ralph Hinckley, since this was kind of a superhero show, should be played by the cast of the old Disney movie Sky High.
Ooh.
And so I took a couple characters from that show to be the main characters of this show. So Ralph Hinckley will be played by, and I'm going to screw his last name up, Michael Angarano. Let's go with that one. Anyway, but he was the Will Stronghold of that show, the main character. I figured he'd be good here because he can kind of play the silly, goofy stuff. I've seen him do some serious stuff too, so he might be able to play that. The government agent who's trying to figure out what the aliens did and all that in the show. His name is Bill Maxwell. Bruce Campbell was in that. And I thought Bruce Campbell could play that pretty well because not only is he, awesome, but he does a really good job with that kind of stuff. And like the show Burn Notice, I really enjoyed him on that as well. And then another teacher who becomes Ralph Hinckley's girlfriend / and then wife later on the show, Pam Davidson, would be played by. Well, yeah, hey. It's like 30 years later. I think if they haven't caught up by now.
There's a statute of limitations with spoiler alerts. I think it seems to be ever changing.
Yeah. I usually keep it at 72 hours, but past that, So Pam Davidson will be played by Danielle Panabaker, who you probably know. Goodness, I can't remember her name in the show, but she was the girl that did all the stuff with the plants and stuff. Or if you've watched The Flash on CW, she plays she plays Frost, Killer Frost.
Oh yeah.
So
I like her.
So I thought that those 3 would be really good in that show, and then have the rest of the cast of Sky High kind of filter in to fill in the rest of the characters as needed here and there. But here's the change. Instead of aliens coming and dropping off the suit, I want him to find the suit as like an old family heirloom, and there's no instruction manual or anything with it. It just puts it on and realizes he has powers because of the suit. Like he finds it hidden in cleaning out like his dad's closet or his dad's attic, and he finds it that way. Because the whole alien thing that they tried to do in the show was kind of hokey. It never really worked. And so this way, I'm just getting rid of the aliens and we're going straight to nerdery. So, but anyway, that's my shtick.
I like it.
Nice.
Okay.
I need to watch that now. I know of that show. Never watched it.
I think it's on Hulu. I think you can watch it on Hulu. I'm not sure where else it could be found, but pretty sure it's on Hulu.
Do you know who would know?
Google.
Yeah.
So, so speaking of Three Geeks Podcast, Jason would like to call it plagiarism, and he is dead right that it's plagiarism. Love you,
It only
Jason.
counts if you spell the word plagiarism correctly. Oh.
Ooh, boom goes the dynamite. So Jason says, "What's up, my friends and new friends?"
Yeah, and I probably don't count anymore.
And
Having said that,
new
I've never
extra.
heard something get seared so perfectly. Just
And it looks like
oh no! Bless you, Jason.
Jason's
Thank
got a
you.
good sense of
it
humor.
looks like Greatest American Hero is available to stream on Amazon Prime.
Amazon
Amazon
Prime.
Prime.
Sweet. I have that. Guess what I'll be doing this evening?
There we go.
Well done, John. Thank you.
It's an homage.
It's an homage.
I still like to say homage just to see if I can
I'm
throw
trying to
people
be
off.
smart over there. Scares me when he's smart.
It's
All
probably
right.
the 3-year-old.
Right?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
spelling things for him tonight.
All right, coming up next is Shannon.
Sweet. It's my turn.
Yeah, show us what you got.
All right. I am rebooting Cheers because that was one of my favorite shows from the 1980s.
It was on my list of the ones I was thinking of today. Because I was totally
Next time.
defeated today.
Next time, Jay, we're going to do this again soon.
There you go. But I'm renaming it Slanjava, which is how you say it in Scottish. It's that word that looks like Slainte Mahath.
Mhm.
Sorry, folks. I don't know how to speak this. Hi, Jason.
It's hard.
Yeah, okay. It's really impossible to say. But anyway, that's how you say cheers in Scottish because I'm taking cheers and putting it in Glasgow.
Done. Okay.
So it's now called Slanjava, which is good health in Celtic, I guess. Gaelic.
Not Gaelic.
Thank you. Anyway, here's my new cast. I'm going to stop saying things wrong now.
Okay. If
Try to
you
go
are
to
not
the right
right, I might be sad.
Okay, good. All right. So Sam is now going to be David Tennant because they both have really good hair. Diane is going to be played by Kelly MacDonald, who was from The Decoy Bride, and the two of them were lovely together in The Decoy Bride, and I love her, and I don't see her in nearly enough things.
Okay.
Frasier is now going to be played by Tilda Swinton because
That'd be
why the hell wouldn't I?
That would be fun.
cool.
Norm is Craig Ferguson. Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Cliff is Dylan Moran. Sorry. Carla, going to gender swap a little bit here, but Carla is now Shudi Gatwa, the new doctor, our next new doctor.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. High energy. Woody is Alan Cumming. I thought that'd be fun. And Coach, and I have to congratulate myself on this moment of brilliance, but Coach is going to be played by Robert Carlyle from The Full Monty and Train Spotting.
Nice.
Robert Carlyle. Oh, there you go. That's a nice one. And then the switch up in this is that now, instead of it being Cheers, this pub in Scotland is going to be where a Scottish podcast goes to do their planning and talking and so forth. And so we get to add to the cast Sarah Golding as Drunk Helen.
Awesome.
I really like that. I would watch that.
And I rewrote the first lyric to sometimes you want to go where nobody gives a toss about your name and they're only marginally interested that you've arrived. You want to be where you can see troubles are all the same and usually caused by the English, and you want to be where nobody gives a toss about your name.
That's fantastic.
Love it.
That's fantastic.
The end.
I just want to throw this back up on the screen real quick because I didn't read it completely at first. So I didn't realize he said he was going to reboot 24.
Nice.
I like that. Jim
That
is
is
the
good.
hero, Michael is the villain, with Dwight as the villain's wacky sidekick.
Nice.
Done.
Sorry.
I could see that. I could see that.
I'd change it slightly and make the who's the religious gal who ends up with very, very blonde, tiny little gal?
Oh, Angela.
Angela. Make her the hero. I want Angela as the hero.
Oh boy. That's a straight-laced hero right there if she's maintaining the same character. And
Angela is Kiefer Sutherland. I think it works.
Yeah, and don't you dare say a thing about her cats.
It truly is not
Mess
coming
with
out my
cats.
nose tonight.
Seriously. I'm telling you, this would be an awesome Cheers reboot.
I really like that. Yeah. Yeah. If you
Would it be on BBC?
It'd have to be like BBC America, right? So we can get that nice little crossover.
mainly because of all the English hating, but yeah.
BBC might do it.
I
Yeah,
just want to be. I want to be an extra. Like I want to just kind of hang out in the pool room or something because this is like a list of many of my favorite people in one.
Right.
Thing, so
I don't even need to talk. Just let me sit there and drink beer and watch them do it.
exactly.
As soon as you said David Tennant, I'm like, I'm in.
Well, duh, right?
For all the reasons.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
I'm
the rest
trying
of
to
my
run.
life,
Tennant.
please.
I'm just gonna make sure you all can see my picture of me with David Tennant there.
Well, there you go.
Where was that at?
Comic-Con here in
Which
Seattle, Emerald City.
Seattle, okay.
Yeah.
Jealous.
Nice.
Yeah, I've met him. I got some stories about cons and stuff like that one of these times. I'll mention that later, maybe.
Excellent.
Yeah, he's if anyone works at a convention, then they have a thing called Code Tenon. You know what that means? That means David Tennant is somewhere in the facility of this convention, and everybody went from one side to the other. We've got to scramble so that way we can kind of organize that.
Nice.
Oh,
So it's going to get real crazy real quick, is what you're saying.
oh yeah, it does. Oh
He's
yeah.
pretty popular. He's going to be back this year too. So
Gosh.
What?
here at Emerald City.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Like, what's he working on? Like,
Oh,
I want
sorry,
to see
none of
more
that.
of him.
Yeah, me too. But
The 60th anniversary special.
yeah,
Yeah, he's supposed to be in the Doctor Who this upcoming season. So
with Kathleen, with
with the new guy whose name I cannot even try to pronounce.
that's Shudi Gatwa. But I mean, he's also with what's her name? Good
Kathleen.
Lord, thank you.
And then the Wolf has been spotted on set, so her grandpa. But also Neil Patrick Harris
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
as a villain doing a song and dance number. Like there have been sneak peeks.
There
that
is
they
some
have gotten from like their
spooky makeup. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Right.
like
I-
shot from their apartment buildings and released. That I'm like,
I can't get enough NPH, so that's fine with me.
oh, I know, he's just great.
So he's fantastic. Still think he deserves so many awards for having just, been the reason why I continued to watch How I Met Your Mother in the early years. So all right, excellent. I think we're all in agreement that was a very good reboot, Shannon, and most of us, if not all of us, would watch that quite happily. So all right, Spartan Subohm. See what I did there?
Something
Okay,
like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. You're up, bud. What you got?
I had a huge problem with this because I came up with 5 different ideas, and then by the time I started going, I got stuck on all 5. And I would think, this is how ADHD works. I'm sorry, that's just
It
how awesome
really
my
is.
brain is.
We all understand.
There's 2 shows. You know what? I'm gonna say it. There's 3 shows that I can give you guys.
Okay.
First one, the Golden Girls. We need a new
Listening.
Golden Girls. I'm not a very huge fan of plot. I'm much more of a fan of character. Characters far more fascinating to me than plot any day of the week. And I liked Golden Girls because it had a lot of character in there. And I think that's something that's kind of missing, but let's bring it back. So I would have 5 Golden Girls. Okay. So stick with me. The first one, I want Susan Sarandon. Her character would be basically a widow who has a true crime podcast. Tons of avenue of story from there.
Sure.
Eventually at one point we'll have she was actually assumed to be the murderer, kind of like a Carol Baskins type thing. She wasn't, so she has this podcast and it's just bringing in revenue. Second person would be Cicely Tyson, a retired nurse. She has seen it all. She doesn't put up with anything, and she's just living in this retirement community with these characters, trying to go about her business. Third one, Deborah Winger. I love Deborah Winger. If you watched The Ranch, she was amazing in that show. The only character trait that I would have her, unfortunately, would be a stereotype, would be another hippie. Like, she's just living there. She could be the daughter of one of the original Golden Girls because I researched this. Blanche had 6 children. They had Matthew, Janet, Biff, Doug, Skippy, and Rebecca. Like, who would have known? The fourth one, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not sure exactly how it would do it, but I bounced this with my wife. Oprah Winfrey as a retired sex therapist. And so she could be the counterpoint to all the other characters in issues that they're having. Some of them are dating. Susan Sarandon's like going out on a date, having issues. Well, people think that you killed your husband. So you're going to have issues. And then we could have like Cicely Tyson's husband passed away. So, she's coping with that. So, I want someone there to be like the heart of the group. The last one, George Takei. I want him to be in there, and I want him to be in those moments where he's like the fun one. He's going out. He's living his best life. Maybe at one point they have like some guy walking around the apartment in a towel. Get everyone excited. Stuff like that. I mean, I could go forever writing different various storylines for that, but it'd be just fun. So the Golden Girls. The second idea that I had that I could not, I'm still working on in my head would be Max Headroom. A lot of people don't remember. Max Headroom is amazing.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that it's based on the country, or because it was originally done in Great Britain, but quite honestly, it's all about the oligarchy of media controlling the government. And there's so much to be said with today's climate to that it would probably be a little too scary. I remember the one aspect of it that they would have were called blip verts, where they would have 3-minute commercials streamed into your head within 3 seconds or something like that. And then some people's just head exploded. It was weird. Only thing I can think of, Max Headroom would have to be played by David Tennant. That's the second that you said that, I was like, man, she stole my idea. But yeah, I would want. We would need Max Headroom to be someone who's like,
that's awesome,
very serious as a human, because he's the main character is a reporter. I think it's Edison Carter or something like that, and he's trying to expose all of this corruption, oligarchy. The counterpoint to that would be Max Headroom. He was zany. I loved it. Mm-hmm. The third one I had wasn't really in the 90s. It was a spinoff of a show. I believe Batman Beyond was in 1999, 1998, something like that. Mm-hmm. And there was one episode that nobody knows about, that this would be an amazing reboot, even a movie. So in that show, there was an episode where there was an android. I'm probably burying people and like, what are you talking about? But there was basically, the story is about a robot who is created by the government to assassinate people. This is on a Saturday morning cartoon. He grew a consciousness and then he ran from the government. There was a show called The Zeta Project that came out in 2001 that was basically they just took that character, took that story, and made a whole new series about it. It only lasted about 2 seasons, but it had a lot of potential because basically the idea would be this android would assassinate their target and then completely, like, I don't know, it just shapeshifts into that person, so that way it completes whatever, you know, objective that they wanted them to do, but they couldn't do it, so they had to replace them. So this is how ADHD works. I will go on forever on these things, but yeah, Golden Girls, a definite Max Headroom.
I like that.
Shot in the Dark, but yeah, the last one, no one knows about this. I think it's amazing. It's actually on Amazon Prime right now. So
Cool.
Very well done. All right, I like them, especially
like
Golden
it.
Girls one.
I like it when the
Yeah.
ADHD brain takes up more time so that then I have time to finish my notes because my ADHD brain didn't let me.
She's over there like, just keep talking. Keep
Eventually I'll
talking.
figure out what I was going to do.
Exactly. And I don't know if you saw this, but this was Jason's response to your Golden Girls.
take my money. Yeah.
And
I could.
I.
Like I said, character means so much more than plot, and that evolves. I mean, you know, like if you have a character leave and come back, you know, the problem is that, like, you know, I would have loved to have Betty White on the show, but you know, sadly we lost her. But
Understood,
George
yeah.
Takei, though, that's inspired. That isn't inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah, George Takei.
choice.
That would be amazing. I would love
hilarious.
to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could just see him as a Golden Girl.
Exactly. And he's right. Character does carry. I mean, if you have a bad plot, but you got strong characters, those strong characters will help carry. It doesn't really work in reverse. You can have a strong plot, but horrible characters, and I'm going to lose interest. But if you have good character and character development, I'll stick around for a while. So, all right. Very good. After Kathleen's done, I do have my alternate one I'm going to share with you guys too.
So, mine. I've decided I want to reboot Murder, She Wrote.
Awesome.
With Kat Dennings instead of Angela Lansbury. But I also want to take Murder, She Wrote and add a splash of Dexter to it and have her actually be the murderer that we all know she was the entire time anyway. Because how else is she there for every murder and know how to solve every single one of them?
Well, you know.
But I think
that happens when you've been in too many Disney movies. You turn into like a rampaging villain at some point.
Yes, you really do. But I feel like Kat Dennings as Jessica Fletcher, as a murder author, writing the stories of her own murders that she is committing in an attempt of covering up the fact that she's committing them, because you're not going to write about your own crime. And the hard thing with this is there are not many other recurring cast members. I mean, there's police who are in and out, and they're not in as many episodes. But I figured that if we took this to a modern day and made the local police officer, the local police chief, Jensen Ackles, to bounce off of Kat Dennings.
Nice. Seriously.
I feel like that would work. And then for there to be that Dexter aspect of it, where there's still that romantic subplot that happens, and somehow the police chief is now in love with the murderer but doesn't know that he's in love with the murderer, and she's still getting away with murdering behind his back and helping him solve the crimes while writing books about the murders she's committed. Also because Kat Dennings, and I love her.
Nice. Now, who's Kat Dennings? Remind me.
Darcy from the Thor movies. She's also
Natalie Portman's assistant.
I'm just going to slide over here and look that up because.
Yeah, go for
Amazing
it.
how quickly it just pulled it up. Google knows what I've looked up many times before.
Oh,
she's awesome.
Two Broke Girls gal.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, Two Broke Girls. I couldn't remember.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I remember hearing.
Yeah.
Her name. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Nick and Nora's
He's very
Infinite
funny.
Playlist. Great movie, by the way. If you like.
It is a great movie, but I feel like her spark and livelihood would revamp that show so much. Like, so John saying that he would pay to watch this version of Murder, She Wrote.
Thank you, Jason.
He would not be paid to watch the original version of Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah, I concur.
His mother is a big fan of it, and he despises it now.
Well, I just don't like Angela Lansbury, so I would avoid that like the plague anyway. So,
Oh, come on, bedknobs and broomsticks,
no, I'm good,
dude.
Eh,
I
yeah.
just say, apropos of absolutely nothing, except that I was having to IMDb some people to find, actors that I wanted. That I was today years old when I realized that the guy. Do you guys watch Grey's Anatomy?
Mhm.
Okay, Chief Hunt from Grey's Anatomy, the redhead guy, was Tommy from. Oh bollocks! Trainspotting. He was one of the boys from Trainspotting with the big curly blonde hair.
Whoa.
Tommy?
Tommy.
Yeah.
With the white hair, the big white hair. One of
Yeah.
it's been so long since I saw Trainspotting.
I know I had
can't
to go
even-
back and look at the cast list to remember which one Tommy was. He's not Spud, obviously, and he's not the main, Ewan McGregor's character, but he was one of those boys.
That's so funny.
I'll have to
Tommy
look
was
that
the
up.
one who was the soccer player.
Yes.
He had a girlfriend. They made a video, and then they returned it, but it was stolen,
Yep,
and
that
it
guy.
was bad. Yeah,
Right.
that's why I'm thinking, like, man, I ain't seen.
Right, not Sick Boy.
Oh,
not-
yeah,
yeah.
that's him.
Isn't that funny?
Sorry, I pulled up the picture and it's the.
What the?
I do enjoy the nerd squeal. That was nice.
Trying to keep that under control, and it doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't, but I do enjoy when it breaks free. No, that's a good one. Even if it does, and it did offend Jason apparently with my slur against Angela Lansbury. Sorry, buddy. But anyway,
She's
so
not a cup of tea.
no,
She understands.
Oh, I thought that She's a Delight was for me. Oh, damn.
well,
Was for Angela Lansbury.
it's
Nuts.
probably you two.
It's probably both.
It's probably both.
Jason and Maya Delight.
Why not a bit? Why not a bit of both? So
I was going to actually suggest something too, since Shannon, if you're not too familiar with Kat Dennings, really good movie that's on Netflix. It's called Friendsgiving.
Okay.
I actually like that movie a lot.
Okay,
She's
I'll check
in
it
there
out. I was trying desperately to find a way to work in two actors. Now I'm not going to remember either of their names. Sam Rockwell
oh yeah,
and the gal whose I love her, but I cannot remember her name from Mr. Right. Anna Kendrick. I got it.
Oh, yeah.
I was desperately
yeah.
trying to find a way to work both of those people in because I love them both. I love them both in that movie. But
Mhm.
speaking of underrated movies, that's a good one.
excellent.
So-
Yeah, I love Sam Rockwell. He's one of those
Have
guys
you
who can play
seen-
so many different characters.
Yeah. Have you seen Mr. Right?
I don't know that I have.
Write that down. It is very
already did.
fun. It's very fun. It's Anna Kendrick and Sam Rockwell and Tim Roth, who I love. So,
Oh, Tim Roth is good too. Yeah.
oh god, he's wonderful.
Yeah, a lot
Alright.
of people don't remember, like, Sam Rockwell was the Billy the Kid in The Green Mile. He was so good in that performance.
Oh, yeah.
but it just-
Really? Wow.
he was just a visceral, toxic character that just encompassed everything that was going wrong with the country at that point. Yeah, I forgot about that until I watched it. the other
That's
day.
cool.
I'm like,
Okay.
ugh.
Yeah, he
'Cause I
pops
saw
up in the
Moon.
weirdest places. Galaxy Quest and
Oh
Oh yeah.
yeah. Oh, I
such
love
a-
his character. I
oh
love
my
his character.
God,
on
yeah.
and
Galaxy Quest.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
Not the best, unfortunately.
The BBC extended, like the one that they took from the radio series to then do the BBC miniseries of, is fantastic.
Mhm.
Even though it's also still terrible, like because it's so cheesy and the visual effects are awful.
The
But-
book is great though.
The book
I
is
can deal
great.
with cheesy though. Honestly,
The
I don't
book is
mind
great,
cheesy
and
if it's fun.
The movie version is sad. And
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I love Flash Gordon. The early '80s version of Flash Gordon. That's about as cheesy as it gets, but it's fun cheese, so I don't care.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
You
none
know
of
what
us
makes
did
that-
the Batman
is it-
of the 80s. Was that 80s? That might have even been 70s.
the what?
You're
The
talking about Tim
Batman-
Burton. Yeah, that came out in '89. If I'm
No,
not
I'm
mistaken.
talking about the old TV show.
Oh, that was in the
Oh,
the
'60s.
one with Adam West.
Does that
and
go all
Burt
does that
Ward.
go all the way back
Yeah.
to the 60s?
66, 67, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere in there, 67, I think.
Holy cow.
I don't know. We
Okay.
talked about Ward. We should have asked him questions like that.
Yeah.
Instead, we talked about dogs.
We did talk a lot about dogs, but he did talk about the show, and I do believe he wanted to say. I do believe he said 66 or 67, so it's right in there. So
fair. Anyway,
all right. So
sorry.
No, you're fine. we like random jaunts. It just makes us feel more comfortable because that's what we do all the time. So here's my alternate. So I went a little farther back than the 80s. I went back into the 70s, and there's a show that I think that probably could get rebooted, but you'd have to change the name of it because it used to be called The $6 Million Man. And now, because of inflation, it would have to be at least The $60 Million Man. There'd have to be some alterations there between the early 1970s and 2022. But anyway.
This is how you recognize a Gen Xer, though, is if somebody runs into...
Right? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You can instantly tell that's that generation.
Yeah. I made that noise way too often when I was little. Anyway, there's a little something telling about me.
When you were little, yesterday.
Shut up, Kathleen. Anyway,
making breakfast.
So
banana.
No, that's just when I cut the bananas into the food. Banana. Anyway, okay.
You've now crossed into dad joke territory.
And I approve.
It's a terrible place to be, and I love it.
I love it. Okay, so anyway, in this show, there's really only two main characters. And then the rest are all on the 99 episodes of this show. There's only two main characters. There was Steve Austin, who was the test pilot who crashed horribly, and the government rebuilt him so he could be, this international super spy and whatever. And then there was Oscar Goldman, his agent / doctor / whatever he was in the show. I don't remember. But anyway, those are the only two guys that were in every episode of the show. Everybody else was there for a handful of episodes at most. But what is cool about this is that we could springboard from the $6 Million Man into the tie-in to the Bionic Woman, and then make one show with the two of them being a couple that goes out and fights crime together. And I don't know I didn't go so far as to rename the two of them together, but whatever. The Bionic couple, whatever.
The ultimate power couple.
Exactly. So I thought, I love the Percy Jackson movies. Would it be fun to use the Percy Jackson characters in there, because they'll be a little bit older now, because those movies were made in like 2010, so they're at least 12 years older now.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be fun to use Logan Lerman, who is Percy Jackson, as Steve Austin, because he's proven through the Percy Jackson movies he can do some action scenes and things like that, and some fight scenes, and he'd be able to handle that a little bit. Now, Oscar Goldman was supposed to be an older, wiser guy. I thought it would be fun to use Pierce Brosnan in that role, because he plays the debonair agent, role pretty well. James Bond needed better scripts, but James Bond. So Jamie Summers, who was the Bionic Woman, would be played by, and again, I'm going to slaughter this name. I think it's Alexandra Daddario, who played. Oh goodness, I can't remember her name in The Lightning Thief. But anyway, she was the main girl of the show. That her mother was the one of cunning and strategy. Anyway, that's as far as my memory takes me. But because I, also got distracted with Xbox this afternoon and didn't complete my research. So.
That's same thing. Me too.
Annabeth, there it is.
Thing.
Yeah, I was playing PUBG this afternoon, so yeah, I got a little lost, but yeah, it is what it is. It was fun. So anyway, I thought it'd be kind of cool, because then again, like I did earlier, all these little sub roles here and there would be filled in by the rest of the cast members as the show goes along. So anyway, $6 Million Man needs a reboot. I think could be a cool reboot if they were to do it, because there's the special effects would be so much better than the early 70s, where there was like tin cans on string flying through the air. So but that's just
One of my other choices was the Hercules TV show too, but that's just because I love that show, and I would continue watching it no matter what. But I could not come up with a better cast for it. I struggled. But then I'm like,
You're talking about the Kevin Sorbo one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure we're on the same page here. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, wait, but if we redid Hercules, then would we have to redo Xena too? But then who do you recast as Xena? And yeah, it was a scary, scary spiral.
Honestly, I'd put Alexandria Daddario in as Xena.
Ooh.
You know, she's got a very similar look to her, and
Gal
just
Gadot.
saying.
See, I was
Gal
thinking
Gadot and everything.
but I'm like, but she's already Wonder Woman. Can she?
I
be
know,
Wonder
but
Woman?
she's amazing.
Look, there's similar outfits. She's proven she can pull it off. So
Right.
you know, just saying, wouldn't hurt my feelings either. Because
Would
I really
Gal
like
Gadot
Gal
really
Gadot.
ever hurt your feelings?
No. Anyway, new topic.
I'm sitting here. That's got my brain just because I actually Googled it, and some people are like Mila Jovovich, Michelle Rodriguez.
As Xena?
Yeah. There's a list, but I don't know because to be quite honest, I don't have that subtext on Xena. I watched the Kevin Sorbo ones. Weren't they like originally like small movies and then it turned into a TV show?
I think
I
so.
remember the little movies that were like 2 hours. I liked those more than the show, but
Letitia Wright. I'm going to go with her for Xena. Sorry.
sounds good. No, go for it. I know that, you know, I never watched it, so I don't have any context for it. I know there's a third one that came out for that, wasn't there?
I'm just rattling off badass women because I didn't watch it either.
Right,
So
fantastic.
here's something just because I just did a quick Google search about this. And this just came up as a completely alternate topic in my Google search. But Lucy Lawless has spoken up about that she would be interested in replacing Gina Carano's character in Mandalorian. And I'm just like, yes, please. I'd go for that. Lucy Lawless would be awesome as that. She knows how to play the badass. She can do that.
Yep.
So
She's pretty
Down.
awesome.
I'd be down for that. I just had to throw that out there. Just I was like, ooh. It just,
I like
you know.
The woman from The Princess Bride.
Robin, right?
Penn?
Robin Wright, yeah.
Yeah.
Robin
She
Wright,
was
sorry.
so fantastic in
Yeah,
Wonder
she's a good
Woman.
actress.
Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
Not Wonder Woman. Yes. Good Lord.
Is she in Wonder
Robin
Woman?
Wright was in Wonder Woman?
Not
I
in
thought
Wonder
that
Woman,
was,
in Gal Gadot's movie.
She was in that movie?
Yeah, she was the woman who trained her on the island.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
she's-
you're talking to... I thought you were
mom.
talking about... yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was right. Okay.
She's
I
her
got-
mom. Okay.
I'm not losing my mind entirely.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I was
she's
like,
her aunt or something, right?
I'm sitting there going, Robert. Yeah, no, it's her mother. Robert.
Um,
No, she's her aunt. Her mother's the
Yep.
queen, but her aunt is the one who
Her aunt or
trains her.
something
and-
like, yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
gets her in
No,
trouble
okay.
and gets
Yeah,
in
you're
trouble.
right. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was
yeah.
kick ass in that movie. Pardon my
Mhm.
language, but I loved her in that. Oh, funny.
Yeah, statue of her.
Nice.
Because Raimi was involved in Xena. Yeah, that's true. Okay, cool. I like. No. I like these little sub channels that we go down. It's it's kind of fun to figure out what you can find at the bottom of a rabbit hole and figure unfortunately,
Especially on a Monday. Because
Right.
if you dig and you get something on a Monday, you're all right. You're gonna have a great week.
exactly.
But quite honestly,
right?
it's so I mean, you got to dig. But you know what the hard part about this whole thing that we were doing with like reboots is every other thought that I had for a reboot is already being done or had been done. Like I was originally I was a huge fan of Quantum Leap. Loved that show.
Oh yeah, that's coming back.
There's a new one coming out like this fall or something.
Wow.
Mhm.
And I was
Yeah.
like, is it gonna have? I can't remember if it was Sam and Ziggy, the little
Sam and
hologram
Ziggy.
things.
Yep. Yeah, I'm curious to how close to the original it's going to stick, or if they're gonna, zigzag off into different paths. If that's
So-
possible.
I would think, you know what they need to, if they don't change this is how I think Quantum Leap should be. I know this is a
Okay.
tangent, but let's just go down it. This is awesome.
We like tangents. Go for it.
Time travel's figured out and all that jazz, but something happens that breaks the current timeline that you're in. So you have to do a quantum leap and do this thing in this person's life, this thing in this person's life, all of which actually fix that one thing. Like if someone assassinated a political leader or something like that, you're going to have to go back in time and play this character who influenced this character that keeps that person from doing that thing. You know what I'm saying? To fix time. I can't remember what the premise of the show was other than he was experimenting and he got lost back in time and he was all these famous people or influential people in history. It was cool, but I mean, I didn't know. I have no idea if it even ended. I never watched the whole thing. I'm going off like memory and reruns on.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been so long for that show. I couldn't. I just remember that he jumped and then and when it always seemed that when he didn't want to jump, he was quantum leaped into somebody else's body somewhere else, dude. And he was always either confused or mad. That's all I remember.
And I always start with "oh boy." That's it. That's all I remember.
So, okay. Slight side topic. What do we think should never be rebooted?
Princess Bride.
Mm-hmm.
Still,
I mean, we're not
second that.
We're not. We've been talking about TV shows, but MASH, yes, absolutely. God, yeah. So every week we do what we call a 5-on-5 on Wednesday nights.
That's
so
not why Kathleen's taking notes.
So every Wednesday night at 5:00 we do a show called our 5 at 5, and one of us, our hosts, we all just give our top 5 things. And so last week I gave my top 5 bingeable shows, and MASH was number 5 for me because it was a show that as a kid I hated. I thought it was stupid. I didn't understand the context, the importance of what had happened and all those things. Mm-hmm. And I regret that sorely because I came to realize how awesome Alan Alda was, or is, I should say.
Yeah.
Don't kill him.
Yeah.
That's why I corrected myself. But I absolutely love that show, and it's one of those shows I'll just put on and kind of play in the background. I
will until I get to the final season,
and
then I will watch everything except for the last episode.
Yeah. Goodbye, farewell, and amen is a sog fest of crying and sorrow. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny is like there are certain episodes of shows that since I became a mom, it's the not watching that one again. Mm-hmm. I will watch the rest of this show, but I will not watch that episode.
Well, that's even like the most recent season of Strange New Worlds on Star Trek, episode 8, absolutely wrecked me. So it's all about Dr. Mbenga, who's got a chronically ill child who's slowly dying because of this chronic illness. He's trying to find the cure for her, and I have a chronically ill daughter. And all the things that we went through, and that hit a little too close to home. And I was like, okay, God dang it, where are the tissues? I was a sobby, soggy mess. So yeah.
Right. But yeah, like farewell, the final episode of MASH.
Goodbye, farewell, and amen. Yeah.
Is a never again. The episode of Downton Abbey when Sybil dies is a never again. And it's funny is the number of them that are like British TV shows or like PBS shows specifically. Like there's an episode of Poldark that is I cannot watch that one ever again. And a lot of them are the children die in this episode. I can't do this again. Yeah. Being a mom.
Kids or dogs dying, I'm pretty much no thank you.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Like anytime we go to watch a new movie, I have John check the IMDb parental guide.
Howthedogdies.com.
That too.
Or does the dog die? Sorry.
Dog in this movie.
Not how the dog. Sorry, that was completely wrong. Does the dog die.com.
Yeah, wow. Doesthedogdie.com. Yeah.
I think I was just noticing the How I Met Your Mother down in the comments, and I had that in my brain. Sorry. Ooh, that was...
Yeah. So Jason says Friends and How I Met Your Mother should never be rebooted, and I would agree strongly on both.
I will give you a never reboot. Fawlty Towers. Oh, never, because John Cleese will forever be Basil Fawlty, and it just cannot be done by anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think The Office should ever be remade because nobody else can be Michael Scott. Steve Carell was the perfect Michael Scott.
Well, that already was a reboot, right?
I know, but he did it better. I like the English version, but I like the American version much better.
I think the American version is better, and that might just be because I prefer Michael Scott over Ricky Gervais's character.
And I think that's probably it for me as well.
Would you consider Strange New Worlds a reboot?
No, not really, because there was only the pilot. Now I'm new to Trek, so any Trekkies listening, just hold tight. My understanding is that, is because, and I did watch it, Captain Pike was really only ever in the pilot episode of the original series, and then he came back for the 2-part the Menagerie. So other than that, he's not really in any part of the show. So all of this really isn't. It's more of a prequel series. It's like, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's its own thing. I get frustrated when people are like, "Why are you making a remake of Captain Pike and stuff like that?" Like, I want to see that era. Like, I love Discovery. I love it. I think it's probably one of my favorite. Like, I go with, like, as far as Trek goes, it's like, say, Discovery, Voyager, Lower Decks, Generation, Deep Space Nine, in that order. That I'll watch comfortably. Like, Deep Space Nine is going to be last because it's going to take very long. But I mean, I was curious, like, if that would be considered a remake or not. But
I think it's
correct.
just an extension.
Right. Well, I think Jason makes a good point here. He said previously that Strange New Worlds would fall into prequel. If they branch off with Kirk, that would be a remake. They do show some Kirk already in the season. They have a new actor for Kirk, but yeah,
I haven't watched it. I'm going to.
It's very limited. It's an extremely awesome season. Episode 9. All I will say is that I sat there going, oh wow, wow, and oh my god, I sound like Owen Wilson. Wow,
oh,
wow. Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
I decided to go to the doesthedogdie.com. And there's all sorts of different categories, not just does the dog die, but does a cat die? Are there animals abused? Are there bugs? And so currently trending TV shows, Stranger Things, Resident Evil, The Boys. And I'm like, The Boys probably has a lot of those. There's no dogs that die in that show, though.
Well, that's good.
Excellent.
So there's that, but
they got that going for them.
I'm just scrolling through with all of the warnings they have about that show.
I really do think they need one for like a major characters.
Right.
Does this major character die? What major
right.
for those of us who get,
Yeah,
yeah,
people
seriously.
put that stuff out almost immediately just because. I remember
exactly.
I remember when the Half-Blood Prince came out. Immediately I saw shirts like Dumbledore died on page something. I just saved you 2 hours of, and that was immediate. That was like the next day. And I was like,
wow.
Didn't even started it yet.
That's cold-blooded, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are fun.
That's one of the words. So
yeah. I was gonna say like another reboot would be sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was gonna say never reboot Firefly. Ever. Just let it exist as it is and we'll just cherish it.
Reboot, no, but
go ahead, Shannon. I'm waiting.
No reboot. Same cast. Continue on. Unfortunately, we have some gaps in our cast now, but bring back
one
Wash.
or two.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'd go reboot. I wouldn't mind continuing with the same cast. I love that cast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If don't reboot it.
Carry on.
I want sequels.
Yeah.
Right. And they've talked about doing a sequel because we've got the comics. We could keep going. Yes, what John says.
Yeah, my dog is named after Zoe. So just saying.
So is mine. She's Zoe Jane.
Mine's named after a loaf of bread.
She's named after a toasted marshmallow. What are you talking about?
We have a corgi. Her name is Toast.
Sweet.
So,
but she's that perfect toasted marshmallow color.
So,
if the marshmallow is any more than that, it is overcooked.
We're getting close to the end of our time here. So before we go into the self-plugging for our own show, just real quick, guys, remind everybody where they can find you. We'll start with Spartan, please.
TikTok. Just look up Sub Spartan. I'm also working on my Twitch. And that's about it. They'll have me back on here, I guarantee you.
I thought Twitches were something that was
Awkward silence.
natural, not something you had to work on.
I don't know. Like I usually I tend to go on there to like, play Destiny or Halo or something like that, but I've kind of gotten back into wanting to do Photoshop tutorials on there, so I might be.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, there you go.
Use that.
All right, Shannon, go ahead.
You can find me at Oz9 Podcast or at Oz9Olivia on Twitter and oz-9.com on the intertubes.
Cool.
Took me way longer than I'd like to admit to remember which one of the Firefly cast who died. Wow. I need to go to bed.
He was the leaf.
I'm like, it's...
Yeah. But actual actors, we lost Book. Shepard Book is gone.
Yeah, that was the thing is I'm like running through the list and I'm like, no, they're still alive. They're still alive. How did I forget about Shep? Shepard Book. It's sad. Anyway.
Yeah,
forgot about that. It was,
All right, on to happier topics. So last Friday, our guest was Eric Ward, who you may know.
Eric Walker.
Well, why did you say Ward and then?
Because I'm dumb and I type too fast sometimes. So it's Eric Walker. My bad.
We don't even know who our guest was anymore. So anyway.
I'm Tim.
Yes, but you might know him from the 1980s Star Wars Ewok adventure movies.
Hi, this is Eric Walker, and you're listening to the FSF Podcast.
If I had been there for that interview, I might have remembered his name, but...
Well, there was that.
Maybe. All right.
Then you're 0 for 2 on this week's trailers, so...
Right, yeah. Look at me go. If you want to watch episodes that don't include Kathleen... That episode is still available on our YouTube channel and on your favorite audio podcast providers. And remember that your subscription to our YouTube channel is a major help. So please don't forget to click the like and subscribe and watch the video. He almost fell. One of these days, your chair is going to give out and you are going to go crashing down, and I am going to laugh so much because I will have finally been victorious.
It's coming.
But
hey, in all fairness, if Rob Paulson
chair.
Can't get me to fall out of my chair, I don't know if you can. So
Rob Paulson,
for some reason,
was to go loosen the bolts so the back of the chair just falls off.
True.
I'm like fantasizing that we see like legs come up like out, and all the pops just come tumbling down. What'd you do?
It could be.
Don't let that happen to you, buddy.
All right, so this Friday, our guest is someone that you may recognize from the show that we were just talking about a couple moments ago, that new Star Trek show, Strange New Worlds. And you might even see one of our guests from today. Well, you definitely will. Anyway, here's this preview.
Hi, this is Bruce Horak, and you are listening to the FSF PopCast.
So yeah, this Friday I'm excited that we had a chance to talk with Bruce Horak. Shannon Perry, of course, was there with us, and we talked to him about being Hemmer on the new show, Strange New Worlds. We talk about the show, we talk about his character, we talk about the return of the Gorn. We talk about so much more in that episode. It's an amazing conversation with Bruce, who also happens to be legally blind and a fantastic portrait painter. He is crazy talented. So we talk about all that kind of stuff. So be sure to tune in this Friday morning on either your favorite audio podcast provider or, of course, on YouTube if you'd like to watch the interview. And that'll be there for your viewing and or listening pleasures.
All right. Well, that is our show. Shannon, Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We have enjoyed this very, very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and yes, we will have you back.
Yeah.
So,
thank you. I'll brush my teeth next time.
Hey! And maybe wear pants or not.
Pants are optional. We can't.
That's optional.
Anyway. Yeah, we
Right?
can't see it anyway. We don't care.
Who cares?
Exactly. All right, guys, that's going to conclude us for the FSF PopCast. Goodbye.
Bye.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF PopCast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSF PopCast, or go to www.fsfpopcast.com and click on the contact link. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the episode.